Hey everyone, welcome back to another stream, and we are going to be doing like animal transformations. One sec. Drawing or maybe animating, and of course it's going to have the rules in the description.
Be called stupid, but their actions just make you go, ugh. Now, I'm fine with people not using the full extent of their brain cells to do things, but when their stupidity starts affecting me, then we're gonna start having some problems. The rule disregarder. Someone who either doesn't listen to rules or flat out ignores them. I had a class with this one person. I'm just gonna keep his identity a secret. I don't know what was wrong with him. He did lots of questionable things that made the class just shake their head. One time he asked the teacher if he could use a pen to fill out a bubble test. And if you don't understand how bubble tests work, normally you get a bubble sheet, fill out a multiple choice test corresponding to the letters on the test, and the teacher gives the filled out forms to this machine and it grades the test a lot faster than the teacher can. But the machine only works when you fill it out with a number 2 pencil. Maybe the guy didn't know how they worked, so I guess it wasn't a bad question. But a few weeks later, when we had another test, it turns out the same guy used, a pen to fill out his test. Really, guy? Really?
I'm gonna can't draw humans, I'm just gonna do this. Using this for everything. Can be inappropriate. Ready, toy bunny, bunny, chicken, toy Freddy, Foxy, boop, 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 boop. Maybe I can learn how to draw humans by this.
And as the teacher was yelling at him for being so ignorant, it was noticed that he didn't even put his name on the test either. The advice ignore. When you give advice to someone, they ignore it, and they end up in this huge problematic situation that you predicted perfectly and they could have avoided if they just took your advice from the beginning. Tori, do you think I should date Aaron or Jet? Aaron has had at least 24 girlfriends and he's cheated on all of them. I'd say Jet. Oh my god, girl, wait. Aaron just asked me out to the carnival tonight. I have to go with him. I'll see you later. Oh my god, Tori, Aaron bailed on me for some blonde named Blonde who isn't even hot. You have to come pick me up. Aaron was my only ride home and I'm getting hecka wet in the rain. The non-future planner. Someone who doesn't think of the consequences of their stupid actions before they make them. Once when I was in 4th grade, I was in the school bathroom, and as I was walking down the little corridor to go into the stall, some girl randomly started yelling, "I'm gonna kick the door open!" And all of a sudden I heard this loud boof as one of the stall doors flew open at my face. Now luckily, I was a master of karate arts when I was little, so my reflexes were lightning fast, and I was actually able to block the door with my arm instead of my face. And I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty proud of myself because I've never done anything that amazing before. But, I mean, come on. if it wasn't me standing there and instead some, I don't know, poor little kindergartner who couldn't block the door if they tried, there could have been some major issues. I even had a pretty bad bruise on my arm from where I blocked it. Be ignorant. When someone doesn't pay attention to their surroundings, when they could be a hazard to something or themselves.
Jeff, where do you want these knives? Oh, hey, Jeff, didn't see you there. Dawn wanted them over by the cabinet over there. Hey, Dawn! Jeff said you wanted these over there. What? No, they're the knives you wanted. Yeah. You sure? Okay, catch. No? Okay, I'll sprint them over to you.
The important detail overlooker. Someone who is told important details and immediately forgets them. Okay, so for the party tomorrow, you said you can bake the cookies? Yup. Do you want a specific kind? Nope. I can eat everything but peanuts, so everything else you want is fine. Hey, glad you could make it. What did you bring? Peanut butter cookies. You want one? They're still warm. Hello?
You may or may not have picked up on this yet, but I'm not the most confident, brave, whoa, hey, look at me, I'm totally the best kind of person. I'm shy and nervous and self-conscious and a mess. There's a lot of bigger, important things that I worry about, but I'm just gonna talk about the stupid ones that'll probably make you think I'm just dumb. Gotta keep it upbeat and entertaining. I can't be creating swirling vortexes of existential crisis and self-doubt. Yet, judge me if you want, but I mean, I can't help but be pointlessly freaked out about these things. I'm sure you've got your weird triggers too. Loud flushing toilets. I can't remember a single moment of my life where I haven't been scared of loud flushing toilets. It's just the fact that, especially if you're in a stall, you're locked in this tiny space with this solitary, isolated toilet bowl, and it's always a gamble. Some toilets are really nice and quiet, and they just go... It's the frickin' biggest relief of my day when I think a toilet's gonna pull some ungodly sound out of nowhere, but it turns out to be practically silent. I get overwhelmingly happy. Probably too much to be considered normal anymore. But then there's the ones you flush, and all of a sudden you've just released Satan himself and 1,000 tortured souls from the fiery pits of hell. Just... I go into mental breakdown stage. I can't even move. Have you ever seen the videos of like goats or some other animal where they just freeze and fumble over if they get startled? That's me. But I don't fall down. If I'm in a house where there's a bunch of extra room in the bathroom, I get as far away from it as possible, immediately. But again, if I'm in a stall, I have to end up just pressing myself against the door as much as I can and wait for it to end. Jaden, you bimbo, if you're so terrified, why don't you just leave the stall? Well, good sir, have you ever noticed that bathroom stalls tend to mainly open inwards? That means in order to leave, you gotta step closer to the toilet. No thank you. That's the opposite of what I want. I'd rather just be a frozen victim for 10 seconds. Why do factories even make loud flushing toilets anymore? Just make them all quiet. Please? I'm getting tired of pressing that dumb button, and all of a sudden all the Jurassic Park movies start screeching at me at the same time. Falling into insanity. Speaking of bathrooms, you know those public hand dryer things? The ones where you have to stick your hands in and it blasts air? I can't do those. I have this image in my head where I put my hands in and then some cyborg future handcuffs lock onto my wrists and I get kidnapped by a hand dryer. Like an evil bathroom transformer waiting for its next human victim. Well, too bad, you dumb hand dryer. You can't fool me. And speaking of hands, I'm just on a roll with these transitions today. I'm self-conscious of them. No, I'm not just afraid of hands in general. That's chirophobia. I had to look that up. I have this dumb thing where my hands are always cold. Not just like, oh, your hands are a bit cold. They're frigid. It's so bad that I'm actually very nervous about shaking people's hands or giving high fives just because they're so cold. Whenever you meet someone new, you normally shake their hand. Well, I don't want to shake their hand if their first impression of me is going to be, hi, I'm Jaden. Boom, I'm secretly an ice witch, and you've just been cursed with the power of 1,000,000 ice cubes. How about instead of shaking hands, we just do finger guns? I like that idea much better. Like, we've all been in that situation where you have to say bye to someone, and it's like, well, shoot, am I supposed to shake their hand or hug them or whatever other confusing goodbye motion? Just do finger guns. Less confusion. And contact. I'm sure the misophobes can agree with me on that one. And with high fives, normally it's not that bad, but I still try to minimize it to the least amount of physical contact as I can. Someone goes, high five, and I just smack their hand as fast as possible. It's weird and noticeable sometimes, but trust me, I'm doing you a favor. What else can I be stressed about? Time limits in video games. The less amount of time, the worse it is. I just can't stand the feeling of a constant, you better hurry up and complete your mission. You only have a limited amount of thinking time. Every action you do that has no impact on furthering your path is a mistake. You're doing everything wrong and your inevitable punishment is steadily approaching. Even in Mario. I mean, it doesn't affect me too much because the timer is up in the corner and not in your face like some games. And there's typically a lot of time. But as soon as that music gets faster, oh boy, everything just got intense. Oh, I'm in trouble now. Time to sprint. No time to look for secrets or nothing. I'm about to have an aneurysm here. Our lives are a time limit when you think about it. Back when I was a kid, I had this Game Boy Advance SpongeBob game. And for the second level, you had to get SpongeBob to the top of Sandy's treehouse by hopping up branch platforms. But the thing was, there were bird baths scattered around, and you only had a limited amount of time to get next bath before SpongeBob dried out. I was so scared of running out of time, I never got past the level. I stood at the bottom, just sitting in the bath, occasionally stepping out, only to get extremely panicked to see the time start ticking down and hop back in. I really want to play that game again. I've gotten better at video games since then, and I kinda want to experience the other 95% of that game. Okay, so since I have zero self-control when it comes to video games and nostalgia, I went out and I bought the game. I bought the game again because I wanted to play the level and prove to you that I can beat it. So yeah, I'm just gonna, I have my Game Boy and I'm gonna play the level. Look at this nostalgia though. I haven't played this in how many years? At least 10. Oh my god. What am I doing? This is one of those games where it didn't even save your progress. You had to enter a password. Oh my god, the pressure's on actually. Look at this. It only gives you 20 seconds. What the heck? That's pressure at the max. Alright. Oh, look at SpongeBob. And then you get like the spatulas. People are gonna say, get the. Hey, it's Ari! Thanks, Ari. Should I become a gaming channel? This is totally gaming channel status. Oh no! Just kidding. And, alright, see? Dang. Hot and cold. I don't know what my problem is here. I've just never liked it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Hot and Cold is a game where you try to find something based on audio hints other players give you. Cold means you're farther away. Hot means you're getting closer. So basically, you're walking around aimlessly while other people are screaming at you. That's how my mind interprets it anyway. I can't cope with the constant input from people based on my every action, and it gets worse when I'm getting closer. With every step, people are getting more and more intense at me, and I feel like something's just gonna pop up out of nowhere and, stab me. You're getting warmer. You're hot. You're steaming. You're on fire. You're in a volcano. Stop! You're freaking me out! I can't handle all this intensity. I just want to run away back to the cold area. It's calm over there. It's chill. Last one I'll talk about here. Before YouTube, and even since I was a kid, I've always been self-conscious about my voice. But for different reasons. When I was young, somehow I started believing, wow, my voice is really low compared to other girls. People are gonna think I'm a boy. That one didn't make too much sense. I don't know how I came to that conclusion. I don't believe that one anymore. But recently it's been more of, my voice is weird and awkward and mumbly, and I don't like it. I'm really reserved, so I think since I never did much talking, my voice wasn't able to develop as much and get as strong as it could be. It's funny, when I first started making videos, when I had to sit down and record, which back then only took like 15 minutes, which like, I wish it only took 15 minutes to record audio now. But even after those recording sessions, my throat would hurt and end up being really sore because I wasn't used to talking that much for that long. It was kind of pathetic. But now it takes literally 6 hours to get my audio done, so I've come a long way. I've been swaying back and forth between being self-conscious and just being okay with my voice because I still think it's a bit too mumbly and weird. But I've been reading some comments like, "Oh, Jaden, I really like your voice," which, I mean, thank you. But I don't really see it. But if you enjoy it, then I'm glad. My vocal cords say thank you.
Wait, what? What would that mean? Hi.
Thank you. There's a bunch of other things I wanted to talk about that I didn't get to mention, like phone calls. I can't really handle phone calls. This day and age, people seem to only call if they need something along that line, and I just think, what do they need? What are they gonna ask me? What if I don't have an answer? What if I waste their time? I don't know what they want from me. The possibilities are endless. Oh my god! And I end up not picking up the phone. Just freak myself out. Also, eating food in front of people. I know that one's a bit more common, but I'm really like self-aware about that too. I feel like someone's gonna judge me on what I order and how I eat it and other nonsense that practically no one does. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm a freak for being nervous about so many things. Maybe I'm not. I don't really know anymore. Talk to you later. Bye. I'm doing finger guns.
Jaden, you talked about dumb things you're nervous about.
Oh, you think I'm done? I'm just getting started. Yeah, no, I'm not done. There's more, sadly. If you're semi-new here or just haven't watched the first video I made about things I'm freaked out about, you don't need to watch them in order. Don't worry about it. It's not like you have to study up to watch these things. I'm not gonna pop out halfway through like, pop quiz in the first Irrational Fears video, which video game from my childhood did I finally beat after like 15 years? Answer incorrectly and you have to restart your computer. That's the punishment for not being up to date on every single one of my videos. But it would be cool if you went and watched it afterwards or something. Whatever you want, it doesn't really matter. It's fine, I don't really care. This is how you play a hard game, right? Let's just jump right into it. Things that freak me out, / generally make me a bit nervous, part 2. Interacting with people. I feel like you can probably relate. I actually got curious to know the ratio of introverted to extroverted people, and apparently around 50 to 74% of the population is extroverted. Now that's a big estimation gap, but I thought it was kind of interesting because the majority of the comment sections on my videos are full of introverts. Looking at the bigger picture here, it kind of makes sense though, because all the extroverts are probably just out being with people in the real world. Like extroverts. Well, anyway, as a fellow introvert, I avoid interacting with people as much as I possibly can. If there's an option for me to just not talk to people, I'm down. I've got strangers and people I don't really know, by the way. Don't get this picture in your head that I just want to live on the floor of my room by myself in the dark with no friends. You probably were thinking that. but just making sure. I think it's common to not want to interact with every single person you possibly can when you go out somewhere, but I think I go an extra step in some situations. Like if you're at the grocery store and you can't find something, an average person would walk up to one of the workers there and ask, hey, do you know where I can find the cornmeal? And the worker would say, oh, it's in aisle 3 with baking ingredients. And the person would be like, thanks, not only did I get an immediate answer to my question, but I also know the general direction I need to head to be physically pointed to where I can find the thing I'm trying to locate. While over in my corner, I can't just walk to an employee and ask them about something they're paid to know the answer to. I'm not some social interaction wizard. No, I have to walk to some obscure area that no one else is in. Pull out my phone and Google where to find cornmeal in a grocery store. I choose to take an extra 5 minutes of my time to do an internet search, then initiate a normal human interaction. And Google can't point out which direction I have to go. I've got to walk down the whole store, scanning the little signs at the top as an extra bonus to find the cornmeal for a video to make bird treats that I'm never going to use again. And Ari doesn't even eat eating. One time I was at Target and I called my mom to ask her where the deodorant would be because I couldn't find it, and she said, how should I know? Ask someone there. Why are you calling me? I'm at work. And so I left without buying anything. Which is also a tangent little fear. Going into a store, looking around, and leaving without making a purchase. You'll feel so shady. Like the workers probably think I just committed a steal. And you try to balance it out or something by looking extra friendly and smiling at the people. Howdy ho there. I didn't steal. No need to worry about me. I'm a law-abiding citizen who pays for things. But then it's the whole thing like, well, hypothetically, if I were to actually want to steal something, I would try to not look shady by smiling at people like, yep, totally didn't just rob you. So they probably think I am stealing by smiling at them, and I'm confirming their mind even more. People who work at stores, do you see someone walk in and leave without getting anything? Do you assume they stole something? I haven't had a job like that before, so I don't know the thought process you guys have. I just want to know if it's going to be something I don't need to worry about anymore, and I'm just overthinking everything like I normally do. Please help. Since we're on the topic of socializing with other people, if I do find myself in a conversation with someone, I worry a lot about not looking like I'm paying attention to them while they're talking. I hate it when I'm trying to tell someone something and they're just looking around, they check Twitter a few times, totally not looking like they want to be there. Like, dude, you're gonna miss out on this stellar conversation I'm having with you here that could totally maybe change your life. I'm just kidding. I don't have anything to say that could change anyone's life. But they don't know that, so they're risking that possibility. Also, another side tangent, the word stellar. It's a good word. Why don't people use it more? I vote everyone says stellar more often. Stellar is stellar.
That was a public announcement.
So that's 2 things on your to-do list now. Go watch my Irrational Fears Part 1 video and say stellar more. I mean, if you want to watch the video, it's nothing really. You don't have to if you don't want to. I just thought I'd mention it again just in case you forgot. Oh, hey, let's get back on track. Worrying about not looking like I'm paying attention to someone when they're talking to me. So what I do to overcorrect that problem is focus way too much on making it look like I'm listening to someone. I concentrate so hard on looking like I'm paying attention to a conversation that sometimes I actually do forget to pay attention. I do a 180 and focus more on getting it across that I'm genuinely listening than just actually paying attention. And I don't realize I'm not really hearing what they're saying until the middle of their conversation, and it's like, crap, wait, I don't know what they're talking about. I need to start paying attention. And then I focus on trying to make it look like I've totally been comprehending what they've been saying this whole time, and you get the point. A good example of how this can be a bit of a problem is about a month ago, I went to the bank to order some euros because, as you know, I was going to VidCon and stuff. There's a video on that too if you maybe want to go watch that as well. I mean, it's whatever. Like, when the bank lady was telling me about the ordering process, I was really focused on getting it across to her that I knew exactly what she was talking about, and everything was peachy, and there were no problems at all. And when she got to the point where she said, so they'll arrive on Wednesday, is that okay? She basically told me when I can pick them up. And without thinking about what day it was or what she actually just said, I went, yep, that's fine, finished the order, and left. It wasn't until a couple hours later I was at my desk doing some work, and it dawned on me, wait, I'm leaving on Tuesday of next week. Did she say this Wednesday or the Wednesday after I leave the country? I'll take my chances. It was the Wednesday before I left. It was fine. But in hindsight, that could have been really bad. I was too nervous about going back and asking the lady about the order information because that would be extra interaction with another human, and I I just told you about how that makes me anxious. I'm gonna screw myself over someday by being like this. I know it. I'll make a video about it, don't worry. Last one for now. So far I'd say I've talked about pretty general things that other shy, anxious people might relate to. But this one's out there. A live-action version of the movie Pinocchio. There might be a few of you out there like, oh yeah, when I saw that movie as a kiddo, I thought it was a bit freaky too. No, that's not why it freaks me out. I saw it for the first time as a kid, and I don't recall a single thing about what it's really like or what happened in it, but I just know that night, I had one of the scariest nightmares of my childhood life. Like the type of nightmare you never forget, and you just wake up in a pool of your own sweat like, geez, what in the... How did my brain even conjure up something that horribly freaky? The heck? Where did that come from? And at first, I didn't think anything of it. Just a nightmare. They happened. Nothing out of the ordinary. But like, a year or something later, I watched the live-action Pinocchio movie a second time, and I got the exact same nightmare. Yep, these two occurrences are connected. I'm never watching Pinocchio ever again. And I didn't. It's the only movie I refuse to watch as of this point right now. Maybe sometime in the future I'll be brave enough to try and give it another chance, but no man, I'm good for now. I bet you're curious, so I'll try to explain the scary dream the Pinocchio movie gave me. It's gonna sound dumb, but that's just how dreams are when you try to explain them, okay? Just go with it. I was in a dark room, and I was pinned against this invisible corner, so like, imagine you're in a room and you have your back against a corner and you can't see anything, it's all pitch black. And by the way, I was dashed from The Incredibles. That's just, I don't get it either, that's just how it was. Not even Violet, but whatever. So I was dashed from The Incredibles, pinned against this invisible corner looking into blackness, and every once in a while, a big shark would lunge out of the dark and try to bite me. Just a huge shark jump scare at random intervals. It sounds dumb when I say it out loud. I'm not even scared of sharks. But I got really close at some points. It's dumb. Whatever. Anyway, quick off-topic thing. I'm gonna be going to Phoenix Comic-Con next week with James and some of my friends. There's not a panel or anything. I'm just gonna go for fun and to be buddies. So if you see us walking around, then yeah, say hi if you want. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, bye. Anything you say into this will reach hundreds of thousands of people. Do anything you want with it. Have fun. He is stored in the... After being inspired by other YouTube people for being more honest with their lives and struggles, I decided to slap my own mental health problems on the table for everyone to see. Look at it all. Gross. Help me. I'm not secretive about stuff like this, but I also don't really talk as openly as I want to about it because I never feel like anyone wants to pay attention to me and my dumb problems. You know who else has problems? Those turtles who eat plastic bags. Those guys got a lot of problems to deal with. Like breathing. I'm just a shy, quiet, anxious introvert. If you can't identify as that type of person, you're probably sick of people saying it all the time. And I can't blame you. It's pretty common to see people talking about anxiety and being awkward and, you know, crippling depression. As much as I like those types of jokes because they're relatable and can be used as a dark coping mechanism to hide the self-destroying thoughts that tear you up from the inside, I also don't want people to forget what the base of anxiety really is. One thing to clear up, I've had experiences where anxiety is confused with narcissism, which, no. I'm sorry, you couldn't be more wrong about anything. Ever. Is this a hamster? Still not as wrong as that guy. Narcissism is when you're overly full of yourself and cocky and think everyone loves you. Anxiety is related to an unbalance in your mind about your ability to cope with things, which creates an intense amount of stress and worry. Yay! There's a lot of different forms anxiety can come in, and for me, I'm struggling with social anxiety, which means I hate myself and think everyone hates me too. Woo! Ha! There's an old Greek myth about this dude Narcissus who falls in love with his own reflection and dies alone staring at it. If he had a brother social anxietus, that guy would probably have a panic attack at the thought of people looking at him, internally die at the sight of his reflection, and then blame himself for dying. I've seen people misunderstand anxiety like, oh, you think everyone's looking at you all the time? Get over yourself, would ya? When it's actually, oh no, I don't think everyone is looking at me because I'm great. I think they're severely judging me because they secretly think I'm more worthless than a dead clam. Even though I have no proof that's what they're thinking, and they've treated me very nicely ever since I met them. I just have a hunch. Not many things bothered me as a kid. When you're like 7, the biggest things going on in your universe are staying up past 10 p.m. and trying to convince your parents to buy you mechanical pencils. Even though I was blissfully oblivious to a lot of things, I still subconsciously knew there was something different. This weird nervousness followed me everywhere. It wasn't intense 24/7, but for example, say when I had to go to the bathroom, I would feel like people were watching me through the cracks in the doors and little marks in the ceiling, like eyes were always on me. Even though I was old enough to know that wasn't realistic at all, the feeling doesn't just go away, which is almost worse because then you feel like you're going crazy in your own head. But at the time, I just thought everyone had paranoid thoughts. You're saying you don't ever worry that everyone on the bus hates you because your backpack is too blue? Huh. Weird. Pass me that red marker. The constant uneasiness never fully goes away, even though I wasn't really conscious of having it in the first place. Once in my senior year of high school, I was in my English class, and we were all discussing something about how men and women are different, and sexism, and that fun topic. There were a lot of good points brought up, and I wanted to contribute, so I raised my hand, and almost immediately started shaking. My palms were sweaty, knees weak, arms heavy, vomit on my sweater already, mom spaghetti, which... Why? I'm consenting to participation here. No one's holding my hands up against my will. Why do I all of a sudden feel like I want to crawl into a ravine and eat rocks alone in the dark? Jaden? Well, statements backed up by facts aren't inherently sexist. Like, so, on average, men are generically built stronger than women, which isn't sexist, just a general fact. But saying all women are weaker than men is sexist. So, like, you're not sexist if, you say to a guy, dude, you can't have babies. What am I saying? Who am I? While trying to talk, I started shaking more, and my throat closed up, and my eyes were like, here, need some tears? Even though I chose to talk. Why am I like this? I don't understand. And one day, it just came to me, like a mailman slipped a piece of paper under my brain's doorstep. I have anxiety. I still don't feel any better about anything. Maybe a bit worse. Can I return this, please? When I went to college, I was finally on my own, which meant I was thinking on my own. And I realized, wait a second, I'm not happy, and I hate myself.
Why did I type X?
That's for me.
Low
self-esteem. Oh, and depression? Eating disorders? Alright, what company got a hold of my address? I don't want this junk mail. Take me off the list. Stop! And bada bing, bada boom, the recipe was complete for a sadness cake. That's me. I've known about all of this for a while, and actually, people struggling with mental illness are generally aware of it. A lot of the time, they know something's wrong, but succumbing to the fact that you're not okay is really scary, and you feel even more hopeless. Like in cartoons when a wife is like, honey, I think we're lost. Let's get directions.
I don't need no directions. I know where I'm going.
The kids are hungry, Ronald, and we should have been at the store 3 days ago.
I've got it under control.
Darling.
You're right. We're lost.
I'm hopeless. There's science to back up that if you frame it as, I am depressed, instead of, I have depression, then you're more likely to stay depressed. Realizing you're struggling is hard, and when you come face to face with the realization that you're not okay, you feel even more lost than ever. Like, how the frick am I supposed to get off this island? Also, how did I get here? Why did no one prepare me for this? Was there an emergency island escape class I missed or something? Some floaties would be nice. Get out of here, mailman, it's Sunday. I was under the impression that opening my problems to people would bring them down with me, or bother them. Just get really messy. So I went full John Mulaney with everything.
I'll keep all my emotions right here, and then one day I'll die.
I was just a ticking time bomb, which surprisingly didn't make anything better. Eventually, it got so intense and stressful. Something tells me this isn't a healthy way to confront my problems. Even though I was terrified, I started being more open to close friends and family about things I'm struggling with. I began seeing a therapist, which was a bit weird at first.
Hello, stranger with a degree. I'm here to tell you why I'm broken. But it gets easier as you work together, and finding the right therapist goes a long way too. These steps aren't automatic problem solvers. I wish. But it really helps when you have support from people who want to be there for you. When problems become too heavy for you to carry on your own, the people who care about you most will come forward and be there to support you emotionally. They're not gonna watch you just get squished. So don't be afraid to talk to them. If you saw someone struggling and you really cared about them, you wouldn't hesitate to come to their aid as well. I hope so. So take it from me. Don't torture yourself. Actually, don't torture anything. Cool. Yeah. That last scene got a bit weird. It was supposed to be like an analogy for stretching yourself thin with stress and I don't know, forget about it. Mental health is super important, and I'm probably not the best person to talk about happiness, but I interpret it as a skill you learn about and get better at over time. Like, it's gonna take a lot of trial and error to understand what keeps you afloat, but you can use everything you gather as you go as data to keep adapting, whether it's good or bad. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. I'm trying to figure out stuff at the same time, too. Thank you for all the support as of recently. It doesn't go unnoticed, and I've been super appreciative of everything. I had an amazing time at VidCon, meeting so many people who watch the videos and getting to hang out with a bunch of awesome YouTube creators. I've been feeling good lately, and it's been a while since I could say that honestly. I'm just breathing it in as much as I can and acknowledging how good it feels to feel good. I'm rambling. Thanks for watching the video. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
You already know I like, but there's other things to me, you know? Aside from art, I like other things too. Like art. In instrument form. When I was 5 years old, my mom put me in piano lessons. And even though I didn't understand what piano really was at the time, it just became a part of me as I grew up, and I still enjoy it to this day. If you didn't know I play piano, then you must be very new here. Do your research. I literally posted a piano video like, 6 videos ago? Nah, just pulling your leg. It's fine if you didn't know. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. But I mean, it was only 6 videos ago.
Thank you.
So, I took lessons at this little place down the road. It was quaint and homey, just a really great atmosphere. The owner was this sweet old lady, and she had so much passion for running the place and teaching kids piano. It was great. Until around 8 years later when the place was bought out by another owner. I don't know the exact details, but I'm assuming it was because the place was going downhill a bit and the owner couldn't keep it. So now the little piano place is being run by new people. And they sucked. They literally had no care or respect for the place and only wanted to make money. All the passion was gone, and you could feel the life drain out of the poor place every day. They branched out to other lessons, which doesn't seem bad, but there would be electric guitars playing at the same time as violins, and during my private lessons, there would be some kid blasting it on the drums a couple rooms down. Nothing worked. There was no synergy. But no, it got worse. The new owners renovated the place to add dance lessons. So not only are there frickin' drum solos playing at the same time as one-on-one piano lessons, but now there's an extra layer of background noise of bad hip-hop music. I remember trying to play a Mozart piece I was assigned, and halfway in we were interrupted by a lot of people were complaining, but the owners didn't listen. Or care. More variety means more profit, so off with you, peasants. We decided to leave when they added karate classes, so that's how I stopped lessons. To be honest, I already knew the basics of piano, and they were kinda just throwing songs at me to learn, and when I got it down, I just move on to the next and totally forget about the previous one. You know, like when you study for a test just to pass, and then walk out of class the same day like, nice, now I can forget everything. So I was kind of getting bored of the whole routine anyway. For 2 years, I stopped playing piano. I thought I could only play what teachers told me to and wasn't interested in the majority of what they were giving me. I was tired of the typical classic songs and stuff. Not trying to say classical or any of that style of music is bad. I was just sick of learning them and was overall disinterested. Keep in mind, I was doing it for 8 years. In the summer of my junior year of high school, I remember hearing a Pokemon song and thought, you know, this would be really pretty on the piano. I wonder if people have made it into sheet music. And thus, I was introduced to a whole new world of piano music. Jaden, you aren't a real pianist unless you only play Beethoven and Chopin and Mozart. Anything else is a disgrace to the piano. What are you doing?
Do you mind if I use this scalpel to just try and make a big incision in your head?
What? Why?
You seem a bit close-minded. I started downloading a bunch of video game sheet music I was attached to, and I was re-inspired to pick up piano again. Yay, happy ending! Don't give up on your dreams, kids. Sparkles, fireworks. But what you don't know, unless you know me personally, or have been stalking me for the past 14 years of my life, is that I've actually had my fair share of playing a lot of other instruments too. I was a bit of an instrument dolphin, diving into one instrument, dropping it, and diving into a new one. Repeat cycle. The United States education system is dumb. I think we all already knew that. Also, shout out to Arizona for being one of the best states in the U.S. for education. So I don't know about you, but my elementary school forced third graders to take a Suzuki class where you learn how to play the violin. No one liked it except the 3 or 4 kids whose parents already forced them to learn violin before that. The only thing I looked forward to in that class was trying to get the special violin case with the black interior instead of the normal blue. I realize now that was just the school having absolutely no money and buying whatever they could find to have enough violins for the amount of students. But it was special to me, alright? Nothing else to say about my violin experience. I literally don't remember anything else but just wanting to be the first to the only black violin case. Don't turn that into a racial thing. Looking at you, Wall Street Journal. In 4th grade, they let us choose if we wanted to stick with the violin or switch to a viola, cello, or bass. I chose the cello. Nothing else to that story either. I just played the cello for a year and then dropped it. There was this one girl in class who was literally the smallest out of everyone. Insert easy typical short joke. She chose the bass. The thing was frickin' 2 times the size of her, height and weight-wise. It was almost torture watching the poor girl haul this obnoxiously large instrument to class every week. So that's how the Egyptians built the pyramids. The school also forced us to learn the recorder. That was a nightmare. All I remember about those days were... Guitar! Dudes, calm down with the instruments. What are you trying to do? Turn us into a parade? Again, the school is shoving more instruments down our throats when they barely had the budget to pay for complimentary pencils in their own classrooms. Hey, I don't think you need to be throwing away your money to random crap. You know, I think there's some other people there who could benefit from a bit extra in their salaries. So the school bought guitars, but not enough guitars. They couldn't afford enough for all the students in a class, so we had to share them in groups of 3. 3! Not even 2! You tried. One student would have to play a chord, and then the other 2 would just stare at them. No one learned anything. Imagine trying to learn how to write the alphabet. But hey, no. You can't write the letters. You have to watch someone write the letters. Kinesthetic learning style. What's that? School, what are you doing? Are you actually trying to be low on that education list? You know you're supposed to try for first, right? It's not a high score kind of thing. You're not supposed to go for 50. Finally, of course, there was the typical band option in 5th and 6th grade. The instrument I chose was the flute. The main reason was because when the band teacher came in to show us all the instruments we got to choose from, he let us try and play them without any experience. And when he was explaining the flute, he was like, okay, now the flute is one of the hardest to pick up. It's a bit more complicated than it looks. You've got to figure out the exact special way to align your lips to make the sound because it's very particular. Holy mother, I am the chosen one. This is a sign from the heavens. Greek god Apollo has destined me to play this flute. Get wrecked, mates. I actually really liked playing the flute. Since I already knew how to read sheet music from my piano lessons, I was already a step above most of the students, and I had fun. But I had to drop it after 6th grade because taking band in junior high didn't fit into my schedule. Instead, I chose to take an art elective. And you know where that led to. Alright, serious business to talk about here. It's actually important. I've noticed a lot of people have been going out of their way to send threats and really horrible messages to other people that, I guess, create similar content to mine. And I just wanted to say, dude, stop. I'm getting embarrassed on behalf of what you're doing. These people aren't
copying me or anything. They're just having fun making videos. Calm down. They're getting really unmotivated and sad. You're kind of ruining it for everyone. You may not believe it, but what you say and do online does have an impact on people. You have the power to really hurt someone, but at the same time, you also have the power to make someone happier. So, I mean, it's your choice if you want to create a good impact or a bad one. Like, I don't really care what you do. I'm not here to be your mom. Freedom of speech and everything. But, I don't know. Stop comparing everyone to each other. Just let them do their thing. They're not pretending to be me or anything. There's a difference between taking inspiration and straight up copying. Think about it. If everyone was copying each other, then there would only be like a few channels on YouTube. Only one animation channel, only one gaming channel, only one vlog channel, etc. Everyone else is a copy in your eyes, right? What makes channels different are the personalities behind them. Content can be similar, but everyone's so unique identity and charisma-wise that every channel is kind of in their own category. Just everyone chill, okay? Cool. Have a good rest of your day.
Oh, I did a weasel transformation.
I'm sort of stealing this idea from Jaden Animations. Wait, no, that's not right. I'm not stealing it.
I'm plagiarizing it.
Two can play at that game, James. Things I do that adults probably don't do. Plagiarize Jaden edition. Also, by the way, I'm very proud of you, James. Congrats on trending. Again. I mean, if I were to choose one of your videos to end up being on the top of the YouTube trending list, I'd probably want to choose the one where you tell people to watch my videos at the very start anyway. Now go watch James's videos. I think I'm supposed to fall in the category of adult now, and apparently, according to Psychology Today, some of the requirements to being an adult are, don't be a jerk. Okay, check. I think I have that one down. If there's a situation where I can either be a jerk or not be a jerk, I'll probably choose not being a jerk. That one's not too hard. Check your ego. Check, it wasn't high to begin with. Call people back. People don't call me. So I think, check. As much as I might have some of the traits to be an adult in society's eyes, there's still a lot of things I do that adults probably don't do. So I'm gonna steal James's idea and talk about him. James just told me he kind of hates that video because it's old. So go and watch it and tell him, yeah, it's pretty old. I do this weird thing I like to call the perfect bite, trademark. Basically, when I'm eating, I can't just be a normal person. That's the gist of it. What I do is, after I sit down with a meal, I'll analyze it before I actually start eating. I'll look for a potato chip that's the best size, a vegetable that has the right amount of seasoning, an area on a sandwich where the ingredients are at perfect ratio with each other. I'll find where the best bite would be, and not eat it. I'll start eating where the second best bite is. Second best, wouldn't you? No, I already know what you're gonna say. When eating perfect bite, TM style, you can't start off eating the most absolute perfect bite. That's how you ruin everything. You don't want to ruin everything. You start with the second best and work your way around the best so you can finish the meal with the perfect bite. Boom, it all comes full circle. Start off with the almost best bite, end it on the perfect one. A good summary of the entire meal. I don't want to end on an unsatisfying bite. That would just make me disappointed and sad. I don't know of anyone else who does this. I don't even know how I started doing it, to be honest. I've always eaten food this way and been a freak. I'll end up having a plate with little individual bites of burrito, stray pieces of fruit, a single french fry. And when eating with other people, it looks really weird because there's just tiny sporadic bites organized on my plate. Sometimes they ask about it and I have to go through the whole process of how to eat perfect bite TM style with them and explain all the rules and yada yada yada, the whole story. and they judge me. But you know what? Don't knock it till you try it, okay? The perfect bite TM is a powerfully underrated technique. You don't even know. I wonder if I can copyright it too. Since I'm on my own, I have the freedom to decorate my living room. And when eating
Oh wow. Nice little top hat. Barney, what is this? That is a masterpiece. I need to subscribe. Just look how amazing that is. Yay! Pokemon transformation. I love the person Gladius Mask has now done. 94 videos, oh god. A Barney meme. Is that actually a meme? If it's a meme, then I'm gonna do it because that looks hilarious. And 94. When was that made? Go to the person. And this video is. I'm going to. So no, I'm. What? Holy. A month ago, really. 6 months ago, after. 3 months ago. Oh, okay, that's fine. The first transformation was I has no Barney meme. Oh my god. It's crazy. He has more Pokemon transformations than liked videos. Holy moly. Holy. I drew it by myself 5 years ago. I only have wipes and other stuff. Nice. End of my life. Fuck you. Oh my god. It has Funtime Freddy on it. It has Funtime Freddy on it. And he said that? Fuck you? Really? Funtime Freddy. I never think you'd ever say that. Hey, Bonbon. Fuck you. That is just the best ever in the world. Bonbon. Say hi to our friend. This makes me want to be a Pokemon. Of course, Yay, we can all be Pokemon. I'm Eevee. Well, you know what I'm gonna tell you? I'm an Umbreon. Pretty obvious. It's either want to be turned into a lion, a dinosaur, sugar, or Umbreon. Or a cat. That man just turned into a female Rapidash. I'm forever triggered. Yeah. That man just turned into a female Rapidash. I'm forever triggered. With a giant butt. Yeah, same. Identify as a black channel. Oh, hi, butterflies. I hate hoofed animals, but goats. So you like goats. You don't like horses? Phoenix. How dare you? I'm good. I'm good. Just some little. Good. Try to find some comments that are 7 years old when this first came out. So sad about turning into Pokemon. Holy mother of God. Wow. If I got turned into Pokemon, it would be a Mecha Lucario. I mean Mega. I would be Eevee. I would be Mew. I would be Umbreon. I will be Umbreon. Beautiful. Julio. When I said it, it sounded like Albert saying, Julio. Julio. So sad about turning to Pokemon. I know, right? They're beautiful. Pokemon. How did I go from an Undertale video to this? Cute. Vaporeon. Super cute kawaii. Oh, wow. I'm not really a big fan of Vaporeon. This code took about 5 minutes to fix one of the whole thing. Okay, just looking at something. I wish I was close to 100. You should have 1,000,000. I mean, your stuff is so funny. I know how we need. It took me a year. Oh my god. It took me a year to get to 100. I don't even know how I got to this page. 3 years ago. Wow, the furthest we got. This is one of the longest ever. Eevee evolves into Espeon with happiness in daytime, Umbreon with happiness in nighttime. Vaporeon with Waterstone, Jolteon with Thunderstone, Flareon with Firestone, Leafeon by touching the moss and rock in the turn forest. By touching a root, you get Leafeon, cloud up and Pinwheel Forest. Man, I'm not stupid. Great. 6 years ago is the longest someone did it. I'm trying to look for like 7 years ago. Oh, 6 over 6. So many comments are 6 years ago. I need 7 years ago. I'm just like, never mind. 6 years ago, close to 5 years ago. Not happening yet. I think it's happening. I feel weird. Oh god. I posted it like an hour ago. I'll watch it after I find something that was 7 years ago. Be a Bulbasaur. Thank you. Inspired me to do my own Pokemon transformations. I want to be Hypno. But you're a Lucario. Be Bulbasaur. That is the best sentence of my life. A Bulbasaur. Can you do human to fast types? Can that be great? Anyway, why does this have to to exist. Nobody asked for me. I like these. I know I'm weird. I'm thinking of the breeding name. Get off of me. Melissa. I didn't know the Mona Lisa like Pokemon. If I turn into a Pokemon, it'd be Pokemon or Gigapon. If I turn into a Pokemon, I'd be Eevee. And I'll be any of the evolutions except for Sylveon. Pokemon, ready to go? Oh, awesome, come on. I can't find any. Oh no. Stop it. Let's get help. Wow. Okay, I want to make a pose. How do I send it? Thanks. Oh my god, that's not the Android set. I thought it was going to be a shiny Vaporeon at first. I'm a Finnegan in the Pokemon world because here I'm a full boss. So I feel like it as Brianna or Latias. Why am I talking like this? Wonder how I got from Yandere Simulator to this. Wait, what? Yandere Simulator? Stop watching this. If I was a Pokemon, I'd be Sylveon. That's the only Pokemon I would not want to be. Sorry. For the one who likes Sylveon, I hate Sylveon. It says, ew. It's like, weird stuff. This is just weird. I'm a big fan of slime goop ones, but good. I don't like those either. I thought I saw Foxy. Oh, never mind. Foxy's gone. Mississippi. 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 I just went through all the comments. None of them are 7 years ago? Holy moly. Holy frick. I wanna you. I wanna you. Like, I was like, such a bad idea. And I didn't even read the description. I was like, why? Oh, yeah, it's their sister. Trash Can Nightmare. You have Sistar, and Sistar has 10,000 subscribers. He watched, Sistar watches your video, and Sistar has 10,000 subscribers. So Trash Can Nightmare. Here you go. Just read the description. I'll draw some of you. If you post a character study, I'll draw it. That you just saw. No. Can you draw me? Let me just go on my YouTube. So much out. Just frick. Can you take a picture? Yes. Oh no. Beautiful masterpiece. This is my character. Can you draw her, please? This is her ref sheet, and she is my OC. I want you to draw me right now. Yeah, he's my friend. Oh my goodness. I was so happy when how much subscribers he has. I'm just like, Yeah, I can draw you. Okay, take a picture. Tell me when you took in the picture, and then I can go out of here and not be bored. I'm just gonna read this while I'm waiting. This has space for a random animal. I made this quickly for myself when I need new animals. Hopefully it'll be useful for other people too. Edit. There's the problem that we're making some animals bigger more than others. The coding for this took me about 5 minutes. The picture on the other hand, well, I'm just saying you should appreciate the pictures. If there's no animal I haven't added, feel free to so just zoom in, I'll add in. You should add the Madagascar hissing cockroach. They're very interesting animals, actually one of the few that are not considered as pets. They are helpful to the ecosystem because of their to the ecosystem because of their job. Why does it say chicken when I show the picture of a rooster? Angry face. Hashtag bird species matter. Oh wow. Okay. First thing, a rooster is a male chicken. Thus is indeed a chicken. Secondly, it is possible to tell if the head is that. If that's a rooster, hence can identify the code as well. Well, that character is not only for roosters. Can you do a dinosaur one? A wild and big cat one? A wild dogs one? Or which is one such as griffins, dragons, banshees, etc. Also amazing. And you should probably include spiders and fishing cats. Add a crocodile kookaburras. Sweet magpies. I don't want to remember everything already. Anyways, a martin. Look what I'm looking at. Yeah. I don't think people should be. Thank you. Yeah. I actually got in this game because of him. I bet someone would think this is robots. It looks like robots. His name Tino Jaws. Ecolo Dars 434 Proxy Hokkaido 123 service. Transversing this Oh, hockey. Double 6 7 7 Oh, 5 2 3 4 people. Eddie 1 2 3 6 a bunch of cool project and 3 4. Musically, it's my lover. Funny Cake 03. Zane the Cat King. Good. Moon Shadow, thank you guys so much for watching. 10, Booster up. Because I want a roaster. Well. Oh my god. Okay, go. There's the ray. Looks like